Welcome, guys, to my Big Brother 25 episode finale week. It's finale week. Um, oh man, it's hold on a second. It is over. Finally, thank God, we are done with this season. I'm so glad. So glad it's over.
Me too.
Um, this season has been very hard. I will freely admit I stopped watching feeds like probably 1 week prior to the finale. 1.5 weeks.
Cerie's week
Yes.
to go home
Yeah.
pretty much where I was.
Yeah.
We were really
Yeah. Yeah.
on one, and I just couldn't.
Yeah. I couldn't do it. It was rough. Um, it was hard. It was very hard to see the things that they were doing.
Yeah, no interest, no fun. Like I didn't. There was nobody I was really invested in, so I really, it was a
Yeah,
completely different experience from last year. So I was just like, what's going to happen is going to happen, and I no desire to watch feeds.
yeah. Same. I just no. That's the word. No desire. No desire to watch feeds. So I didn't watch. I didn't watch that, but I watched the episodes for the most part. We did watch the finale. Finale. The uh, series episode of elimination until Suri went out.
I didn't
I
watch
don't
the
remember.
ending of it. Watched
Yeah,
the
I don't.
interview and what she had to say. That was it.
Yeah, and I love, even that end piece. Like, I just loved her. But I said Matt letting Sari out on his HOH would be him losing the game, and I was right.
I think
um,
like because go ahead.
the, the reason why I said that is because it it stemmed a loss of control. Not stemmed. It portrayed a loss of control, right?
Yeah,
That he was not in control of the game. He
yeah,
yielded control to
to
Jack.
yeah, he let Jag convince him to them up, which
Yep.
I think had he not done that, had he made any other moves,
Yeah.
it might have risked him getting there. Honestly, I do think that. But if he had put up, even if he had put up Bowie and Felicia and not Jag, which I still think, because Jag still had another week to get him, and
Yeah.
we saw he could have in the very next week. But I think that had he put up Bowie and Felicia, evicted one of them, and kept Sari for himself,
Yes.
would have looked better.
Better.
And I'm not trying not to get ahead of myself, but this is where I think Matt faltered as well as his performance at the final questioning and speech. But I
Yeah.
think this vote and his goodbye messages and not keeping Sari for himself, Jack
Yes.
saying in Sari's goodbye message that he convinced Matt to do ABC and get rid of her, basically.
Yep.
He's claiming everything for his own, and Matt's just a puppy that looks like he followed him. Now, early in jury, Corey was a champion for Matt, talking about he was impressed with the fact that Matt had never been targeted when he absolutely should have been. Everybody was good. He was beefing up Matt's social game. And I respected that. I was like, yes, so happy Corey's in jury, right? Because I respected that about Matt's game as well. The fact that he went all this time, like, who talked about really getting Matt out? There was never any weight behind targeting Matt. Good with everybody. Told people what they wanted to hear. Love it all. But once we got to that round table, we hear Corey championing for Jag. I'm like,
What?
what
What
happened?
happened? What happened?
So in my mind, what happened was that Sari vote where
Yep.
Corey really saw that Jag was driving this train. And maybe it was
Yep.
a little bit of loss of respect for Matt and Matt's game, coupled with Matt's sorry goodbye messages. Just telling people what they want to hear. Oh, sorry, or this or that. I love you. It's not good enough. We need to hear about game and what you're doing game wise.
Right.
So I think
Right.
that just changed Corey's perspective. And we know America was going to vote whichever way Corey was going to vote.
Right.
You know,
Agreed. I always, again, which is the other thing of bringing a duo, a showman,
strong duo, right? They are
yeah,
not gonna
to
vote
the end.
They
Yeah,
are
which is,
two
it
out of
was the
three
same
votes.
thing last year. Like I kept saying, people are like, no, Kyle's gonna vote for Turner or Monty. I said no. I think Kyle will vote with Alyssa. I think Kyle will take what Alyssa is like. Finally, take what Alyssa's opinion is in the game
Yeah.
and value it at the end to show he really values what she has to say this time, what she believes in, what she is championing, because he knows he's screwed up. And so I kept saying, I think Kyle will vote with Alyssa. I think wherever they're voting as a voting block. I always said that.
There are 2 out of 4 necessary votes with a jury of 7, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that, and then also we heard Dr. Will talk about in his interview with Sharon that the roundtable was very contentious. I've since heard that was Corey and Cirie. Did you see that?
I did see that,
Yeah.
which I pretty much figured it would be either Cirie and Felicia, because I wasn't sure coming out if Felicia was going to go for Jag or Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Brandon, welcome. So I wasn't sure if Felicia was going to go for Jag or Matt, but we did see at the end, Jag really, really he screwed up, because I think he would have got Felicia's votes if he hadn't been so heavily ostracizing her, being mean to her, to the point where it was so noticeable that she called them out on it. And even when she called them out on it, she said, the person who invites me to be part of whatever the end game stuff that they were doing is the person who gets my vote. And that person was Matt.
Mm-hmm.
And so Jag might have won 6-1, because we know that Cirie was never going to vote for him. She was always going to vote.
I was loyal to. Matt. That's
and that was Matt
in Survivor. For every season that she made the jury, she voted Parvati in her first season. Jesus Lord. Artist in her first season, Parvati, Heroes versus Villain. She did not make jury, got blindsided. And then Vantage Gate, she voted for Sarah. Fought for Sarah, probably. So she votes to who she plays with. She votes for who she plays with, who she's loyal to. That's always been her. So call her bitter if you want to, but this is the same Cirie that's always played the same old way that she's played now.
But I don't think it's bitter. I don't find it to be bitter. I don't find it to be bitter, because my whole thing is bitter. She would have been more bitter for Matt, because why you let me go out on my HOH? But she's like, I was playing the game with Matt. I'm going to vote. I know what the work he put in. I know what he did. He screwed up, but that's like saying, oh, if she had voted for her, if she had come down to it and voted for Jared instead of, oh God, what do you call it? Jared instead of Jag, right? That she was being bitter, but no, she would be loyal to her son.
Mm-hmm.
So how is that not loyal? Like, it's loyalty for her, right? Like if it had been Blue, and we know that Blue didn't play the best game, but she was loyal to the soil, to who she was loyal to, And that included Cirie. Cirie would have voted for her.
And part of me also thinks with this Corey Cirie stuff, I just feel
Mhm.
like just with some things that he said in the House that he wanted to get his way over her, or
So he has been
like he
saying
wanted it his
since
way, so
before he
I
went
want
out.
my way.
Yeah, he's been saying since before he went out, he didn't think Cirie knew what was going on in the game. I think he was upset that Cirie gave Matt more credit than him, than a lot of people, because again, I'm sorry, Corey's a know-it-all. He thinks he knows everything. That doesn't mean I don't like him. I actually like Corey. I just think he's a know-it-all, and he's also sarcastic like me, and that shit comes out and then makes problems. So like I feel like the way he played his game was really very just I know best. I know better than everybody, as if other people don't have a perception of the game. I have a perception of the game. There's stuff that you and I don't agree perceptive wise of the game. Like I didn't appreciate a lot of Felicia's movements. You didn't appreciate some of her movements, but there's other stuff you were like, "Oh, that was fine." But that is perception. For me, my perception is based on how I would want to play, what I like to see. Like that is my perception.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Brandon.
Go ahead.
Brandon says it's also that Cirie voted for the more deserving winner, and exactly if she was bitter, she would have voted for Jag. Yeah, exactly. I just feel it.
And it annoyed me that I saw people even saying before the vote that if they vote for Matt, it's because they're bitter. Why? Maybe they just felt that Matt played the better game. And sometimes the better game is the way you send these people out the door. You know? Like, wasn't Blue's question that, we're all over the place, but wasn't Blue's question that asked Jag about being cowardly, about how he sent people out?
Yes.
I also think that he was. Matt was more genuine with people.
And she asked for an answer, and I think his answer to her made her vote for him.
I think that was already decided at the round table.
I think Blue was a swing vote. I personally think
maybe, but I think that after that,
I think having conversations with Cameron for a whole week, and then having Cirie come in and having a totally different Cirie and Felicia coming in and having a totally different opinion. I think Blue was a swing vote personally. But yeah,
maybe we'll have to ask her, but I'm curious to know when was it decided. I think based off of just Dr. Will's interview that they were pretty decided when they left that heated roundtable that they wanted to vote for him, and then Matt just sealed his fate, you know. But I think that most juries go into that final questioning or going into the final three knowing who they would like to vote for already. They already have it in their mind. I think it's very rare that
I wonder if the producers make it that way.
I feel like Jag could have gave the same performance as Matt did and then still won. That's how I feel. I feel like he was just they were just set on their mind that they were going to vote for him. That he just sealed the deal with, you know, his speech and question, answering questions. Everybody's raving about it. I think it was very cool.
I think his speech didn't make a difference.
I thought his speech was terrible.
Because his speech was terrible.
It was terrible.
It was terrible.
In the sense that I think Jag wanted to come across confident in his game, right? Assured in his game. But for me, it came across very arrogant. It was very, very off-putting. And I've seen Jag, and also in my opinion, when he's feeling good, he's feeling safe in his position in the game, to be more so like this, you know? So I wasn't surprised at what came out in the final speech, but it was very, very off-putting to me personally, because it's just too much, too hard, you have to vote for me. No, I don't. I didn't like some of the things that he chose to say and I think he just meant to be passionate, not arrogant. But that's how
he came out arrogant. Yeah, because I said the same thing. I would like, so I tweeted that morning or mid afternoon, and I said, I think it's going to come down to if Jag can take ownership of his movement, take ownership of the game he played, and not do this bullshit that he was bullied and he's. I hate to say it like this. I need everybody to stop trying to be a Taylor.
Mm.
You're not Taylor.
Yeah.
What Taylor went through, none of y'all went through.
Nothing.
I'm sorry.
Jag was not bullied. He was not. Nobody was mean to Jag. I understand at the first half of the game, the first half before he was evicted, he was absolutely played. Used as a tool, a target, what's it called? What do they call him? Pawn. All of that. They pushed stuff off on him, blamed stuff. But that was because of game. It was
that was coming to game. Yeah, he was outplayed. Like even today, he did an interview on Solid Podcast on your channel, and he was saying, he's like, oh, I just felt like they wouldn't let me talk about game stuff, and I understand that is game, and I'm like, okay, so you weren't bullied then. Like you understand now that you weren't bullied because that is game. You were not in their alliance because you chose not to have them in your alliance. So they built up their own alliance to counter your alliance. And when your alliance got dismantled because, yes, a little bit of Jared, but because of Cam, you were on the outs.
Yeah, and then he ended up in that fake alliance that he had all his faith in. Like, look, and this is not to minimize. I'm sure that it's very challenging to be in that house and realize, oh crap, I'm on the out. That cannot feel good. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure where I feel sure that is his emotions coming out about feeling played, hurt, betrayed, backstabbed is not easy, and that is just how they manifested. They're bullies. No, they're not, Jag. I'm glad he said that he wasn't bullied, and that they, Cirie and Felicia, are not bullies. I just think he was emotional in the game, and I try not to be to judge too harshly because I've never experienced what that feels like. But I'm just glad he said that he wasn't bullied. And that he was wrong and that they're wrong.
I'm going to see. He's saying, I'm glad somebody must have had a conversation with him that he is saying now because his interview, I think, with Dalton Ross and Mike Bloom, he was still alluding to being bullied. So that's my own thing. My own thing.
Well, I'm not challenging that because guess what? I have watched very little. I don't really have much interest in watching postseason interviews.
I surfaced some of them. So I've not watched anything Bo Jane. I've not watched anything Matt. But other than I watched all of Taylor's interviews. So if Taylor did an interview with somebody, I've watched all of them. So she did an interview with Matt, Jag, Cameron, and Julie Chen. And so I've watched all of those. Yep. But her interview was, I always like her interviews because they're different. They're a little different than what we're seeing from like a Mike Bloom and a Dalton Ross and like RHAP or even Silent Podcast where they're not asking. She's not asking specific game moves. She's asking overall season things that personal things, game things, what the future looks like, that kind of stuff. So, because she's an entertainment reporter, so I like that stuff. But Brandon says here that speech that Jag gave to fucking Bo Jane would have made me vote. Seriously, that speech was like, so I'm voting you out, but you have to still vote for me even though I'm voting you out. And I was like, to hell I have to.
I think that his intention and how, because I don't think Jag is a bad person. I hope that he's able to reflect on these things and learn, talk to somebody, review some things, and really learn about why some people may be upset with some of the things he said and did. He doesn't really care about things like that, so I hope he really takes the time to do that. But yeah. I don't have too much interest in postseason interviews.
Yeah. And then Brandon said, Jazz just salty. He could never be a. I feel like that's how Corey feels. Like, I feel like Corey realizes now that he kind of really screwed up, because if he had rolled that wave, he might have got a lot further. I really do feel like, so trying to I don't want to say, he's like, I just feel like he's trying to prove that he is the game player that I feel like he felt like he went into the house being, that a lot, the expectation of him going into the house is. And I just feel like in order to do that, I feel like he did in the game too. He has to prove that he somehow knew more than Sari. And just by them being on opposite sides of the boat, I think he's utilizing that.
Yeah,
And
he wants to be right. He wants to,
yeah,
like, oh, you want to vote for Matt? I'm
yeah,
not gonna let that happen. Type.
yeah, yeah. Because we saw it in game. We saw it in game when he did it. He did it with Jared. That's not to say that Jared wasn't just as contentious, and and I'm sure Sari was just as contentious, and I feel like, hello, we're not going to roll over. So yes, my whole thing is Corey voted for who he wanted, entitled. Sari voted for who she wanted to. She's entitled, right? Even with last year, I felt that same way with Turner. I understood why he voted for the person he voted for, because again, he didn't want to make it seem like he was only voting for the person that he didn't even want to go to the end with, just because he was salty that he didn't get taken to the end. And I get it. I absolutely get it. And the person that won is still happy. Like, she's fine with it. So everybody's always giving Turner shit for voting. But my thing is, you vote for who you want to vote for. Like, that's why I don't mind if you want to vote Vitter or Petty or whatever.
Right.
Vote.
Let them vote how they want. If you, for example, when Jasmine was going out in 24, they sat down, they talked to her, but Jasmine did not appreciate how Brittany came to her at the time. Let's say Brittany's in those final two seats. Jasmine could very well say, look, I was in the house, I was going home. This person on this side offered me kindness and understanding.
Right.
And this person on the other side was combative and telling me every single thing, every lie that I ever told in the game, and what I did wrong, and blah, 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 and why I was going home. She's gonna, if she decides, I'm not voting for her, I'm voting for the person that extended me some kindness in a very vulnerable moment. I'm voting for the person that was there for me. That is well within her. She can vote for whatever reason that she wants.
Right.
Another example, I'm so sorry, this is so off topic, but one of the Survivor seasons, one of the people, he voted for Natalie to win season 40. He said, I voted for Natalie to win season 40 because she showed me kindness in this game when it is a cutthroat, eat this person, that person, get blood all over you kind of game. She stopped and she showed me a moment of kindness, and that's why she's getting my vote. There's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't mean he's bitter. He respects that person was there for them. So yeah. Let people vote for whatever reason, whether it's bitter. Well, you shouldn't have treated them bad, and then they wouldn't be bitter towards you. You shouldn't have lied. Like, if Blue had said, I'm never voting for Jag. He lied to me and lied to me and lied to me. I don't.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I feel like she could have been a swing vote, because I feel like even at the end, Matt did a really good job with Blue of making her think like he didn't want her to go out. Remember, they like cried and everything. And just her having conversations with everybody else, she's realizing that Jag sent her out. It was on Jag's HOH. He was supposed to be her best friend. So I just feel like she could have took that and been bitter, and she would have had every right to be, right? But she didn't. Like, I feel like she took all of the information she was given and made a determination of what felt right to her. But she could have went the other way, and I would have been like, cool, that's fine. Like,
yeah, people can vote for whatever reason they want.
Right. So let's discuss a few things prior to that. So there Cirie goes out. We do get Bowie Jane becoming HOH, making it into the final three. She does put Matt and Felicia on the block.
Mhm.
And at that point it was like
Well,
just have to win the veto. And she like it was just crazy that whole sequence of are they going to send Matt out?
yeah,
Should they send Matt out?
right. Yeah, that was an interesting week because I thought Jag should send Matt out, but
Hmm.
he couldn't. Like I saw him at one point, saw a clip of it. He was just staring at the memory wall, and it seemed like
Hmm.
he struggled morally. He's like, man, this guy saved me. He brought I'm in this game because of him, and he did not want to cut him. Fans
Right.
get pissed off at this type of thing. They get mad. They want self-interested players, which I understand. But
Yes.
I feel like if I played Big Brother
Hmm.
and I really created a bond with somebody, I could imagine for me it would be a struggle. I really imagine that. How do you think you feel? Like if you felt like you really built something with somebody, you guys rode the whole game together, do you think you would struggle just as a human cutting that person?
I feel like I could play self-interested.
Wait, but when I say struggle, not necessarily saying that you're just not going to do it, but
Okay. I think I probably would only. No. I think it probably would depend. If it was a romantic connection, probably not.
if it was a what?
Romantic connection, probably not.
I did not expect you to say that.
Right? Like if it's my showmance, I know I'm not cutting them. Right? So if it's a
Even if you
friendship,
feel like
like
he's going to beat you.
that's the thing. Oh God. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Now on the other hand, if it's just a friendship, right?
No, beyond friendship. Let's say you guys rocked the whole game together.
So we put, but I would only do that if, unlike Matt, I could sit there and effectively sketch out everything that I did. So I would, in my mind, I'm still winning because I'm up against. At the end of the day, I'm always going to be up against that person. So I'm going to map out. So I'm analytical, right? So analytically, I'm going to map out from that point on. This is the person I'm getting to the end with. This, like, if I have to throw them under the bus, if I have to show people that I did something, like, I am going to do that every step of the way so that I'll know that I played the best game against the person. Like, they are not even competition. The competition is me. Do you
Mm.
understand?
Yeah, but I feel like as a player, a person could think that, right?
Right.
That
So that's what I'm saying. Unless I feel comfortable that I did everything that I could to make that happen, I
yeah,
can't say I wouldn't cut the person.
yeah. See, I
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying the competition I feel what I felt was different from what I was worried about, because that's why I tweeted what I tweeted. The difference between what Jag did this year and what Taylor did last year is Taylor owned all her moves, even the bad ones, right? So even when people came to her and said, "You did this, this, and this," and she's like, "Yeah, but because blah 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 blah," in game, right? And then towards the end, even Monty helped her by telling Terrence that it was Taylor's fault that that he didn't keep him. But like for everybody else, she made it understood that either she wanted to keep them and her intention was to keep them, but the votes were on her side, or that she had to make a deal to get herself to the end in order to go over them, right? And so that's what I'm saying. If you are able to do that, fine. Which it sounds like is what towards the end Jag started doing, or Matt started not doing. He
Mhm.
needed to do that,
Yeah.
right? But instead, with Blue and with America, he did not own
He's just
his part of the. You're saying you're a duo. You're not owning your part of the duo.
yeah.
Jag and I decided because I convinced Jag,
Right. He didn't have the right kind of goodbye messages, honestly, and Jag did.
and
Right.
Jag did.
Matt, and then I need to get to my other point, but if I hope I don't forget it. But um, Matt did a lot of allowing the daggers or the blame to fall on Jag, and it just ended up
Hmm.
blowing up in his face and Jag getting credit for things because Matt allowed Jag to be the fall boy on some stuff. You know what I mean? It just blew up
Yeah,
in his face. It's a good game plan in game, but if that's what you're doing, when you have a good goodbye message, you need to explain that. Like, yeah, I know I said that over there, but what really happened is he just gave these nice, sweet, oh, I'm gonna miss you. I hope and explain nothing.
I really didn't want you to go. Right.
Right.
And that's the difference. And my whole thing is you can do that, right? But to a certain point, there's a point where you have to say, yeah, I know I told you you weren't the target on my HOH, but you were the target. That's what we
Yeah, you
decided
can
because
do any of those
I
things.
need somebody like even if he said that to Sari, I needed somebody who was going to win comps to get me to the end. And I love your loyalty. I hope you'll still vote for me. But at the end of the day, I had to ride with Bowie Jane and Jag because they were winning the comps to the end, and so that is why you're going out on my
Right.
HOH.
That's what he should have said. Instead, it's like, oh, I love you. I love playing with you. But he gave the wrong messages and he didn't own any of his game. I mean, Jag knew to do that and Matt did not. Like, he could
Yeah,
have, but maybe he doesn't watch enough to know, watch
he's a
deep enough.
casual, so
Right. He's not watching deep enough.
that's the thing that I'm wondering because he is a casual. Like it sounds like even last year he didn't really properly watch what happened. Even it sounds like he watched a bit of 24, but it doesn't sound like he properly watched. What he
Right.
was saying is not what happened.
Right. Very surface level. He doesn't know much. So Jag
Yeah.
knew what to do, Matt did not. But I think that if I were playing a game and I was rocking with somebody, I really enjoyed this person, I really liked this person, or they helped me get to the position that I was in, I think I would really struggle with betraying people. I think I would really struggle with having to put people that I like up. But at the end of the day, I would have to tell myself, like, Janelle, people you have at home, meaning my husband and my two kids,
Oh
matter more
yeah.
to me than these people over here and these relationships you've made in the last 90 days. And I'm sure it's very challenging to do. And I feel like I would be one of them HOHs that's crying in the corner. That would be me because I felt
Mhm.
that, like, oh, I really like Tamika, but I know
Mhm.
she's about to beat me, so she got to go.
Mhm.
Like, I feel like I
Yeah.
would struggle with that. Like, I know that I would struggle with that. And I would be one of those annoying people that's an HOH
Mhm.
crying because I had to put you up.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying about Izzy. Like, I kept saying, like, I kept yelling at her because she was sitting there, like, well, maybe I don't do this at the end, and maybe I don't do that at the end. And I'm yelling. I'm like, Izzy, you are a gig worker in New York City. You need to cut these people at the end. You need to worry about yourself. $750,000 will make you and Paige a good life in New York City.
Yeah.
I mean, she would still have to work, but that would at least help pay her health insurance and shit.
Who knows? She said she has
Yeah,
had a plan for her end game, and it was to sit.
yeah. I wish we had gotten to see it. I loved
Me
Izzy.
too.
Oh,
Me
so I'm trying to get there, but did you have another point? Sorry, I know you
No,
had another
I
point.
made my point.
Okay.
I just think
Yeah.
I think that it's harder. Like, people say, I want self-interested, and so do I. I don't want any of these Bowie Janes that keep all these people in willingly. I don't want any of that. But I'm just imagining for myself and being a people person and unfortunately a very big people pleaser that I would
Mhm.
struggle with cutting somebody that I felt I owed something to. Like, I think that
Yeah.
I'm not saying I wouldn't do it, but I just think it would be a challenge for me.
I told you though, like that is, I'm a few years up on you age wise. That is something I have had to learn, right? In like the last maybe 5 or 6 years, how to say no, like how to be more self-interested, how to be more selfish, and at the end of the day, because even like for us as mothers, our kids come first, right? For you as a wife, sometimes your husband comes first and you come last. And what I realized is that, and I'm not married anymore, but even going into even going into my next relationship, there's going to have to be times where I have to like put myself first but for everybody, because if I don't put myself first, I am doing myself and them a disservice because I'm not giving them a healthy me. Right. So I encourage, like with my travel company, I try to encourage like moms, like take solo travel trips, do things that will build up your mental health, your body, get you to a good place that when you have to make these decisions about a collective, you can say, is this going to be best for me? Or can I take the hit even if it's not best for you and you're not constantly feeling like shit, I'm always taking the hit.
Right. Yeah.
And that's why I said, like, I think I could do it at this point in my life, right? I know I couldn't have done it like 10 years ago. No.
Oh, I'd be a crying, blubbering mess.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
I feel like the fandom just can't even fathom how hard it is. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Looking and just listening to interviews and people talk about it and PTSD and experiences. Like, I feel like it is 10 times harder than we imagine at home. That's what Mimi said. Mimi said, hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah, you know? And I said that about Mimi. I liked watching Mimi play, but it sounds like from what I've gathered through her posts and her interviews and her lives, she realizes going into the game and not being herself. And herself is her career. Her career is a very important piece of herself. So yes, she went in as a newlywed. She went in with being Mimi to a certain section of their BD population in the house, right? But she could not be her full self with everybody because she was hiding her real occupation. And for some people, their occupation is tied to their personality. And she even said, like, that's what she realized watching Corey. Corey came in as everything that he was, and it made people respect him more. Yeah.
Yeah, and it could have, hindsight's always 2020.
Yeah.
The reasoning for why she wanted to keep herself.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I get the reasoning, but I think there was a point where she should have at least maybe shared it with one or two people. Because even, like, think about it, like, even 2024, we had Brittany did the same thing, but she shared it with one person, even though that person didn't share his occupation with her. She shared it with one person, and I think it lifted the weight that when she got to the end game and she started sharing it again because he outed it, the weight had already been a little bit lifted off for her. And kind of the same thing with Taylor. Like, she was literally bullied for coming and saying who she was as a career, as a person. Right. But it was freeing for her because that's what she said. All I ever had from the beginning of the game to the end of the game was the truth. Right. Who I was as a person. Like it, love it, don't. That's the only way I could play. And so, yes, it was a downside, right? A big downside because of one person, but it ended up being, because we used to watch on live feeds, people were like, oh, that's her. Like, she's not alive. She's not going to, right? Like, even the people who thought in the beginning that she was this bad person was like, that's not her. Like she's just too kind, right? Like remember, it flipped on the other side. Oh, she's just too kind to them. She doesn't know any better, right? And even Brandon's saying that we will never get another winner like Taylor. And you know what? I'm going to say this, and people are going to be mad, and I don't give a fuck. Period. And I'm happy that because I feel like too many people tried to shit on Taylor's game last year. They thought it was she had it so easy and she was helped out by so much. But we see people who have tried to play very similar games to her, and it hasn't worked out. It hasn't worked out. And so I need people to stop shitting on Taylor's game. The girl did the damn thing. With so many obstacles against her, and some of these people didn't even have half of the obstacles that she had in the game, and they couldn't even pull it out. Yeah. Stop shitting on my girl's game.
I don't think I could lie about it because I feel like I would never be able to keep it up.
That's what she said.
Yeah,
that's why she said that.
There's just no way. Like I couldn't lie about my family. I could my profession. I don't think would be threatening it. Photographer, or I work for the state.
Yeah.
Like that's not going to be. I couldn't lie about it because I could never keep it up. It's no way possible.
Yeah. So that was the downside for me. She couldn't really open up, and it made people not trust her. But she always had the right reads. She always knew the right movements. Every movement that she wanted to make was the right movement. If you think about it, she wanted to keep Heisem, that was the right movement. She wanted to boat out Jag, that would have been the right movement. Those were the right movements.
The only thing that I wish in hindsight is I think that a mistake for her and Felicia was letting Jared go.
Yeah.
I feel like if they, and Blue too, like if those three had
voted for, well, Blue was on the block. Wasn't she on the block? So I don't think she could. Blue was on the block.
I know, but what I mean is like when that whole week leading up into all of those things that went down, if they had warned them like, hey, this is what that, I don't know if they could have prevented it. They could have tried harder or done different in the HOH. But I think that week is where a lot of the people that we were rooting for gained the power shifted to other people's hands that did not have the interest of the people we were rooting for, right? Like the power shifted.
Like I don't think Jared would have won, right? I'm not saying right, absolutely not. But I agree that he was their shield in a way that they really, really needed. And they needed right. Yeah. They needed him in the end game. To me, if they were going to let Heisem out, they should have either kept Heisem or kept Jared. They needed to keep one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. So I feel like that whole week, Jared going out shifted where the people that I was enjoying went. The power went from the hands of the people I liked watching into the hands of the people I was not rooting so much for, right?
Right.
So that week really changed the game. Somebody said that. I was like, yeah, you're right. That week. Just think if Jared had stayed and Cam had gone and he was able to protect them for a couple of those votes where Jag won 9 million HOHs and put up all the people that we wanted to stay, Oh, how different it could have been. But
so let's talk about this. So I agree with this. Felicia fumbled so hard I can't even think about it. She absolutely did. In throwing, in her haste to throw Cirie under the bus, she screwed her own game. And I said it when it was happening, right? I said I think she thinks that this is in some way going to get her farther, but it's literally going to get her cut.
I think that what week was that? Was the week
that was the week before Cirie went out.
Yeah, I think that her not doing that wouldn't have changed much of the outcome. Unless she kept silent and didn't say a word to Jag or Matt, I don't think much different would have happened, except maybe how the HOH went when Matt won. potentially is the only maybe difference, but I don't know.
I think that would have been the big difference for that week. I think they could have gotten Bowie Jane on the block.
No, I don't think Jag would have done that, or Matt.
There wasn't. I think Matt would have put her on the block if he hadn't thought that they that Cirie outed what he was telling her.
Never know.
But yeah, so at the end of the day, I get why Felicia voted for Matt. I totally see why she did that. But it was also partially her fault because she wasn't really looking at the end game properly.
I think that once they got down to those 5, there was no shot in my mind anyway. Like they're done. But like done more so because Matt let Jag convince him. Like Matt was convinced to take out Cirie. Like he was, to me, he was their hope to get to the end. Was Matt? I knew it wasn't Jag. I knew it wasn't Bowie. But Matt, unfortunately,
that's why I'm saying I think by finding out that if he hadn't found out that Cirie had told Felicia something that she shouldn't have known, I think he would have kept Cirie off the block.
But I don't think he even believed it because he told Jag it wasn't true. He's like,
right. He told Jag it wasn't true, but he knew that he said it. He knew that he said it.
Something I heard, something on some update makes me think that he wasn't even like bothered by it, but they were already on the block. Wasn't that the case? I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. I just felt like they were, once that double happened and Bowie won it and was taking out Blue and then America, I'm like, oh, it's over. Like that's what I felt in my mind, that very little was going to change in order for them to get to the end, unless one of them won an HOH and was able to control the votes. But the power stayed within Jag and the minions. Unfortunately, and that's like they were minions, or that's how they're viewed anyway. And Jag said it. Matt was trying to play nice. Oh, we did it together. Jag's like, nope, I'm the leader. So bad.
So we do see that Felicia's voted out, and then they did the final 3 were Bowie Jane, Matt, and Jag, and then they did the recap of the recap, which they gave a little more AmeriCorey content, but they totally like almost nearly cut out all of Izzy, which was crazy. Yeah,
she's not in a lot of the episodes. Live feeders know how fun Izzy was, but she just did not get a lot of content. It's a shame.
It's a shame.
If I want anybody to come back from that season, bring me back Izzy. Give Izzy a second.
Absolutely. And then so that was kind of a nothing burger. So we get to the finale, and like we said, we saw the jury segment, we saw which we discussed, and then we saw the last comps, which was part 1 of the final 3 HOH.
Yeah.
And these men, after Bowie Jane falls off her little
hot dog,
but it wasn't hot dog. It was, what is it called? It was I forgot. It was like a
hot dog.
It wasn't a hot dog. Last year was a hot dog.
What were
this year was? They were hanging on like I said, PAL, but like it was a
wrecking ball.
Thought bubble. That's what it was called.
Oh.
Yes, it looked like a wrecking ball, but it was
slamming into a wall. Listen.
Yeah.
I was on hot dogs, but I did put on Taylor's finale, so I'm just confused.
Yeah, no. It's like they weren't on hot dogs. And so Bowie Jane goes out, and these 2 men do rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors for $750,000. I think that's worth than deciding to take your biggest competition to the end. Don't you? I think that's worse. I think that's worse. And then you drop off. And then, like that really dropped off and gave Matt the win.
You really don't care. Like, you're willing to reduce your chances at getting to the final two seeds on a rock paper scissors game. It's just comical at this point. I do not like. I want people that want it, that are hungry for it. And if you're willing to play rock paper scissors, it was too nice. This was too. I wouldn't have been.
And then crying when they get out on the live feeds because they didn't cut Matt and then he won the final. You gave him the fight.
You should have said no. All you had to say. I don't even know who said something first. All you got to say is, "Man, let's see who can hang on the longest. May the best man win." That's all you have to say.
Speechless. That was me. Speechless. Rock, paper, scissors. Wow. And then we get the part two. So it was between Bowie Jane and Jag. That was hard as hell. And we know that they've barely been studying. They only started studying because Felicia made them.
Yeah, but they seem to have studied so many irrelevant things. I'd be mad.
Yeah.
I know all this stuff. No one asked me nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I also like that competition between Bowie and Jag. I thought was very challenging.
It was,
but those final questions with Matt and Jag to me were like it's just a weird set of questions to me. I don't understand. Mm-hmm. I don't like the line of questioning at all. Like at all.
I was worried they were tied, and then they got the last question wrong together. And somebody online was like, "That's what happens when you study together." It's like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah,
because you're studying the wrong information, and you're studying the same right information.
I will say, I had zero expectations of Matt. I'm so sorry. I didn't know that he would know the answers. I really thought he was going to get blown out of the water. So kudos to him for keeping up with Jag, because I really thought he had no shot. I didn't think he knew anything, but he did. So he proved me wrong. But yeah, those final two questions. I try not to harp on Jag because I don't know what it feels like to be in there and to feel badly about betraying somebody. And he said he thought he was going to lose. So it did not matter to him. Like he was ready to take Matt and to lose to him, which is astonishing to me. Like,
they just not need the money. Somebody said that they have to start getting just picking people off the street and putting them in the house. And I'm wondering if they're right.
I don't know if I'd like that, but I just want, and I'm sure, coming in, Jag was like, I'll cut whoever to, but once you get it and you live it and you're playing it and you're living it, I'm sure it's so different. We can all sit here and say, I would never, or I would or wouldn't, and go in there and do something bozo-headed, I just know I would struggle with cutting people, and I hope I would make the right choices. I just hope. But I ain't going to be on Big Brother because I can't figure out how to leave my life for 3 months. Oh, that would be, I don't know how I would leave my life for 3 months. I don't know. I would have to lose my job. Somebody would have to help my husband with the kids because of his jobs. He has more than one. I don't know. It's so many things in my head. I should have applied when I was 20 with no life experience or not life responsibilities.
Yeah, I don't know. Because somebody was asking me the same thing about even going on a romance show, to find love. You have to give up pieces of your life to go do that. Now, could I do that now? No. Could I do that maybe in a year or two? Maybe, because maybe I could take a leave of absence. My kids will be older, right? my one kid will be graduated from college, the other one would be in college. And
Mhm.
so it's really just worrying about the little one, and he could just stay with his dad. So it's things like that you have to think about. So it's like you're saying, it's either you do it young or you do it older. Like, because by that time in a couple of years, I'll be,
Or you just
mid 40s.
yeah, or you just are able to work out your life so you can make it work. Some people are able to do that. If you're a teacher,
Yeah,
it'd be easy, but that's what I
yeah,
was like. I'd have to have a big plan for my life, but I don't know. Big Brother scares the life out of me.
yeah. Well, Big Brother I wouldn't do, but
No,
no,
if you could set up your life, like if you knew your
no.
bills would be paid, you could go back to your job, your kids, Big Brother's not for you.
Big Brother, no. I can't see myself having fun there. I no. The reason why is because like I was on a podcast and I said this, and I think it's supposed to come out tonight, or tomorrow. So we discussed Bachelor Nation stuff. So that piece of that podcast came out this morning. But look out for the other piece where we do discuss Big Brother. And she asked the same thing, and I'm like, you can't bring books, you can't read. If I can't watch TV or can't be on my phone, I read. Like, I need the written word. I am not.
Take your Bible.
No, no. I need.
That's not what you mean.
I need stories. Like,
Mm.
I no. I need words. Like,
Listen to people's life stories.
yeah, no. I'm not social like that. Eventually, I'd be like Sari, just like, meet me in the comic room. I'm just leave
I
me
get it.
be.
I think it'd be very challenging. You have nothing to do, and that's why, unfortunately, I think people fall into this thing of just talking about everybody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yes, yes. So you're supposed to be gaming, but it's like, Corey was saying he couldn't sleep in the house.
Mhm.
I could see myself being the same way because your brain is not shutting off, and you're constantly. I think Mimi said the same thing. She said, and I think Ozzy said the same thing. Like, could not sleep in the house, could not shut her brain down. I think Ozzy said she came home and slept for a month, well, weeks, right? So she, like, her body just crashed when she got home.
Yeah, because it's constant. That's what's hard about it. It's constant game.
Yeah,
Everything's game.
yeah,
Every conversation, every interaction, every
yeah,
one little interaction can flip
yeah,
everything. Like Izzy
yeah.
said, America's got to go. Done. Izzy's out. Like, sign your eviction notice. So yeah, it seems
So
super, super stressful.
I don't see myself being able to turn my brain off.
Sorry.
Like, even this weekend, I had something going on and I couldn't sleep. I'm trying to, like, maneuver how it's going to work. Think of all the angles. Think of what all the counterpoints. Thinking like, what did I need to do, and trying not to overburden myself, but also trying to make sure I'm there for other people, but also trying not to flip out. Like, I get it. I've been, like, I have pieces where I've had to go through that for, like, short periods. So I cannot imagine
100.
trying.
And I feel like all of my normal, like, ways that I would cope with stress, or because I'm a stressor, I'm a worrier.
Hmm.
That is me by nature. I'll be like, try
Hmm.
blah blah blah. And especially my husband is my, like, person that I would go to say it's gonna be okay. You would have
Hmm.
none of those traditional ways of coping with
No,
anything. It's
that's what
all
I'm saying. Books for me is that
that's what you would
there's
do.
time. Yes, there are times where I cannot deal with the outside world so much that I have to shut off. I can't do electronics, no computers, no TVs, no phones, nothing. I shut it all off, and I just read books
Yeah.
and block out noise. And a lot of times my kids aren't even here, like, so it's me by myself. But I need it. I need to decompress so that I can think. Otherwise, like, I'm at the point of nausea. I can't think. I can't eat. I can't. That's how. That's how high it is.
Yeah, and I can't,
Right?
like, and you would be stuck in that house with figuring out how you're going to cope without your
Yeah.
normal coping mechanism.
Yeah.
It makes
Coping mechanisms.
it makes me think of a podcast Taylor did on mental health. Excellent
Hmm.
podcast. They asked her point blank how she was able to get
Made
through
it
it. And she
through.
talked about it.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So check it out. It's with Nikki somebody.
Oh, yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, I really like her content. I'll have to get it, but mental health podcast
Uh,
is so good.
it was Nicole. I follow her on.
Weaver.
Yeah,
Nicole Weaver is her name. She did a mental
yeah,
health podcast, and she even said, like, Taylor, how did you? Taylor talked about how her bed was her safe space, and on and on. It was very, very interesting because all
yeah.
of these different
I
ways you
think
put
now,
it.
her she runs a YouTube Black by reality podcast. So I don't know if she switched everything to that, but yeah, that was such a good
Such a good
podcast.
podcast. Yeah, I
Yeah,
loved
yeah.
that one at the time. It was so different than anything else she had, talked about. So I
Talked
really,
about,
I
yeah.
really appreciated that. I really, really, really liked the mental health professional she had on there. I thought she was amazing. I thought she's so
Hmm.
smart. But go ahead. I'm sorry. We digress again.
So yeah, so for me, I don't think Big Brother would be just like the time. I don't know what I would need a coping mechanism, because otherwise I think I would lose it, right? Like so because even we're watching Traders Canada, and if you watch that, like a lot of them are losing it, and the game is short. It's only a 3 to 4 week game, and they're losing it, and they can't cope. And even today, one of the contestants that was just eliminated said she knows she gave up. She gave up. She gave up. She couldn't handle it anymore. She said she was going around to everybody and telling them, if you're a traitor, I just want to go home to my daughter. If you're a traitor, I just want to go home to my daughter. And so yeah, she got voted out. But that's the point, that and that's a short game,
Yeah.
right? And I think they have books. I think they can like jot down things. And but yeah, I can't see me.
Yeah. I think I would be like, also in feeling like this, you don't know who you could talk to. I could come talk to you, just
Right.
needing to vent or confide or talk about something, or needing to feel some sense of comfort, and you could go run it back to everybody. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yes.
It's very challenging for me.
Yeah. But yeah. So that, like even today, I just called my mom because I needed to decompress about something happening, and I just wanted another opinion, because I feel like I'm doing the correct thing, but
Mhm.
you need that. So even if you find that person in the game, you can't trust everybody, and I know that. Like I have a hard time trusting as it is. I would trust nobody. So that's why I'm saying to you, when you're like, oh, you work with this person from the beginning, but it's hard for me to trust, right? Like I'm not going to trust everybody after a few weeks. It's just, it's not in my nature. So I'm always going to side eye you. And I tell you that all the time. Like I talk to people all the time, and I side eye them. I'm like, I don't know what if they're telling me stuff that is actually true, but this is what they saying. So I'm a
Mhm.
side eye them, and this is and either people come to me, oh, did you see this? And I'm like, yeah, but I have a hard time believing if that person really is. And I'm usually pretty good at spotting. I got to trust no one first, and then you trust.
No, it's like, do not apply to get on. Like, no, because then if they offered it to me, I would like have the hardest decision of my life. Like, I don't know. Nope, scary. It's too scary.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Somebody
yeah.
recruit me. Just don't even give me a chance. Recruit me.
But
Don't even give me a
I
chance
say,
to say no.
if you want to do it, go ahead. If it's a thing where you're just a fear, I so there was two things that I wanted to do that I let fear kind of stop me. So there's one thing that I want to do, but ultimately I think it was a I think it was for the best. And then the other thing I wanted to do, I did a piece of it, and then they came back and were like, oh, you can't do this, so do this instead. And I was like, I didn't finish it because I was like, what are you pointing me towards? Is it something that I'm going to end up not liking? So at the end of the day, I think things happen for a reason, but you also can't let fear always stop you. Right? So if you really want it, fear is not a good excuse. It's
Well,
just not.
somebody tell me how I could set up my life so that I could go.
Yeah, life I get, right? Like life, kids, husband, illnesses, whatever. That I get. Fear though is not a good excuse.
I mean, it's scary, but like I swear, if I could know that home would be fine, then that's a different
Hmm.
story. I would still be scared, terrified,
Hmm.
shaking in my
Hmm.
boots, but I feel like I would like go for it.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe I'll
We
hit the
will
lottery and I can just play for
see.
fun, but I won't have to worry about
So we see. We might see Janelle on Big Brother
it. Unless I hit the lottery.
or Survivor.
And I wouldn't even care about the money though, but I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So anything else that we have not discussed about this Big Brother finale week? Ultimately, I think going into the finale, like I said, if Jag can own his own moves, I think he wins. And a lot of people are like, no, I don't think he can win. I said, I think if he owns the moves, he can win. And ultimately, I was right. And ultimately, I was right that Matt letting Suri go out on his HOH proved that he was not the person who was running the show. He was allowing others to run the show. And I don't think Boy Jane had a chance in hell.
Yeah.
And so ultimately, while I don't care for Jag as a player, um, congratulations to Jag on winning Big Brother 25. Um, it's great for representation. We need more and more people of color, BIPOC winners. And so, congratulations, Jag. Um, just wasn't my winner pick. That's it.
Wasn't that my
I
birthday, but
And
I
yes, congratulations to Janelle for winning our draft on this channel. Our first draft, and Janelle actually won. She chose Jag, and I chose Blue, and she actually won
yeah,
the actual draft.
yeah, congratulations, Jag. I'm so happy, especially for representation. While he did do some things I did not love, I'm hoping that he reflects on them, learns from them, apologizes to who he needs to apologize to. I don't think he's like beyond repair. He was fun, had a great personality sometimes. Congrats on all your wins. I wish Matt had won, but it is what it is. He had a good showing in out of the two performances that we saw in the
Mhm.
final tribal council, Jesus. The final jury questioning and speeches, I thought Jag just had the better showing. That either
Absolutely.
you have that ability or you don't. Like to be able to communicate your story. He did an
Hmm.
okay job. Matt fumbled hard,
Hard, hard,
hard,
hard, hard.
hard. I was cringing for him. But that
Yeah.
is just the talent you either have or you don't. Not everybody can do that. Not everybody can
No.
articulate like that. So
Yeah.
that's Jag.
And yeah. And for me, I was fine with Matt not winning, and so I was okay with this decision. So none of the people that I wanted were in the end. Of the three people, I'm okay with Jag winning. So
Yeah, I was okay with really either Matt or Jag, but if it would have been my choice, I appreciate Matt's game more in the sense that if Jag had ever lost, Jag was going on the block and Jag was going home. Matt, I don't feel the same about. Like
hmm.
Jag just kept on winning somewhere, a HOH, a veto, a something. He had it.
Hmm.
The
I
only chance
agree.
to take him out was Bowie's um, win
HOH.
double, and she was never going to do that on
She
camera.
was never going to do it. Yeah.
Never. Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. We won't even talk about her. I've not watched anything that she has said. I don't care to hear from her by Bojan.
Yeah.
So that is it for Big Brother season 25. Thankfully, it is over. I will say, to review any final summary of the season, definitely not my favorite season. It started really well, but they really kind of ruined it towards the middle and the end. And it's not because the people I like didn't get to the end. I would have been okay with the people I like not getting to the end if I felt like they did not stunt the game to the point of it being unwatchable. Feeds were unwatchable. Everything was unwatchable at a certain point in the game. So
Yeah.
I can't say I like this season. Some people really like this season. Some people think it's like one of the best seasons ever, and good for them. I'm not one of those.
Yeah, I like the first half. The first half was great. It was
The
exciting,
first half was great.
exhilarating, so much fun. And then the second half was just the power was concentrated within a few people. And that's even if it's your people, it's like maybe
Hmm.
less painful if it's your people, but that's just not fun or entertaining when you can predict what's going to happen. So
Yeah,
that's just what happened. The end half of the game got really, really boring because of production, mostly. You know.
yeah, yeah.
Yep. That's what it is.
So thank you guys for joining us. I don't know if we're going to cover Big Brother 26. That is probably because if it happens during the summer, I can't promise you because I'm gonna be covering Love Island more than likely. So, we will see. Next year how things go, what happens. Um, should now tell them where the people can find you.
Find me, Janelle Michaud, on absolutely everything: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. That is me. And Tamika and I are also finishing up Traders Canada. We're going to find
Yes,
some day this week to talk about Monday's episode. So keep following,
yes,
like, subscribe, all the good stuff.
yes, and thank you, Brandon, for coming in the chat.
Thank you, Brandon.
But you can follow me at Entertainment in Color everywhere. And yes, we are going to Traders Canada is winding down, but we're still covering it. We're still following our girl Kuzi. She's doing the damn thing. And I'm also covering Love Island Games. Unfortunately, I should be recapping that at 10:30, but that's not happening tonight. I've had meetings 3 days straight. I am running behind, so I will find a day, probably tomorrow, to catch up on all the episodes that I've missed so far for Love Island Games. And I think that season ends next week. And then on Friday, we begin Twin Love from the Bella twins. So I will probably be covering that on Amazon Prime. I have to find out if they drop all the episodes or if they're going to do the episodes like a week or two. Yeah. So we'll find out. I'll probably cover that. And that is it. So as I said, I did a podcast, Kicking It with Ray. So you can find it on Spotify and Apple Music. And we talked Bachelor Nation. And as always on Sunday, me, Chantel, and Miss T Joy wrap up Bachelor Nation for the week with the Golden Bachelor on this channel and Bachelor in Paradise on Chantel Francis's channel, which is Reality Realness with 3 S's. So that is what I'm chit-chatting about on here. And then once those are kind of over, I'll probably be taking a break to enjoy my Hallmark and my Lifetime Christmas movies. Look out, maybe I'll create a list of all the movies that have Black people and people of color in them for the season. I usually try to do that. If I have time, I will do that. And that is where we are, guys. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us for this entire Big Brother season. We will maybe catch you next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.